Behind every farm, winemaker, bottle, and grape lies an untold story. This is Behind the Bottle, a monthly podcast by Cape Classics, a South African and French wine importer founded in 1992. We are committed to discovering and sharing these tales. I am Mary Ellen Phillips, and in today's episode, our first ever, we are here with Philippe Chainier of the Chainier family, who are proprietors of the Domaine Buisse and Clos de Gaimont wineries in the Loire Valley. The Chainier family has a long history working in wine and trade, dating back to 1749. Thank you for being here with us today, Philippe. Let's dive right in. What was it like growing up in a wine family in the Loire Valley?
It was, it is all I know, actually, and looking back, it was fantastic. Because not only the Loire, but I had very much two sides in my life. I had the Charente region, where my family come from, my mother's side of the family, and where my father was raised, even though he was born in the Bordelais region. And my grandparents were vintners as well, in Grand Champagne. So all I heard, all my youth, and all I can remember is talking about wine, talking about the weather, talking about the harvest, talking about the life in the vineyard, vintage aspect from region to region, and seeing the evolution of wine. So looking back and having the passion I have now for wine, it's absolutely fantastic. It makes one big connection, and from year to year, and it shows how diverse, how complex, and how interesting our business is, our passion is. And it's hard to call it a job, actually, because I feel like it is part of us. Mm-hmm. You know, our estates are part of us, the vintages are part of us, the problems that we can have for each vintage become like our children. Mm-hmm. And the same way in our children that we can love their positive aspect and their negative one, we can learn to love as much as their negative aspect as their positive one. And whether we had hell in 2013 or that beautiful vintage in 2018 or incredible vintage in 2000 or 2005, we learn to love them all. They're all different, but they're all interesting, and they're all special, and they're all a part of us. So to answer your question very rapidly, yes, it was very nice, very special.
Philippe, your day-to-day business is a family collaboration. How does that work?
I work with my brother François, mm-hmm. with our head winemaker mm-hmm. and production manager, and I work closely also with my father, mm-hmm. who tends in the vineyards, and until last year with my mother, who took care of our flagship estates, and brought our feminine touch to the wine business, to our winemaking. And 1 year ago, she left us. She's missed every day. But working with my dad and with my older brother, and we have a big gap with François. We have 14 years of difference. That's always been an inspiration mm-hmm. to look at them, and even I should say to look up at them has always been fantastic, and showed me the way to where I want to be.
Did you always have an interest in joining the family business? It sounds like from an early age, wine was a passion.
Wine was there in an early age. It was there. Was it a passion? I don't know, because when you have something and it is there, you don't always realize it. So after my high school, French high school, I went to business school in La Rochelle at first, and then in England. But I drifted away to try my luck in the multimedia and computer. And after doing it for 6 months, I look at the computer and I'm selling hardware, and I look and said, "What am I doing here?" And I went back to France. I think the following week, dropped everything in London, and since then, I've done what I liked, you know. Mm-hmm. As a young kid, you know, I worked at the winery, doing all the jobs from cleaning the tanks to bottling the wine to preparing, doing the packaging, and the supermarket industry. Worked actually almost every single step of the supply chain and production of wine. And I got to say that where I am is the best place to be. I really realized how lucky I was, and how interesting and passionate I was about what my family had done for so long, and I decided to follow their footsteps. And I was lucky enough to be introduced to somebody who I consider like a mentor nowadays, and I did then Michel Bourqui, who created the Master of Science in Wine and Spirits from the OIV, which is the International Organization of Wine and Spirits. And not only was he able to teach me through his program so much about wine, but he was able to make us travel as a multicultural group in over 24 producing countries in the world, from New Zealand to the US, from the US to Slovenia, from Slovenia to Italy and Portugal. And it was really able to open my mind that the world of wine is limitless, and that we all share the same passion. And that's, I believe, when it really sank into my heart that yes, I was fantastically lucky to be born and raised in the wine business, and this is all I want to do. After finishing the degree, I decided to move to the US, move to Seattle, an incredible place, the Pacific Northwest. Some of the most beautiful sceneries in the world, and population who is absolutely fantastic, always friendly, always welcoming, always understanding, discovering two new region of production of wine, passion for Pinot Noir and Pinot Gris in Oregon, some amazing Syrahs in the state of Washington, and again, more passionate people. And really that's what I see in our business. It's not a business, it's really a passion.
Agreed.
But I'm lucky enough that I was always able to go back home for harvest, for the wine shows. And since the work keeps me busy, it's like almost I never left. And talking with Françoise, you have seen a few seconds ago, every day, it's like I'm there every day, checking the weather every day, checking the life and tasting my wines every day. So it's like I never leave it.
Can you tell us a little bit about Touraine as a region?
Well, Touraine is a very, very special place. All right. I was born there. I'm very biased. To me, it's the most beautiful region in France. It is the garden of France. It has, I feel like, what people imagine of France. That art de vivre. That douce France. People are very nice. The life quality is fantastic. Weather is very, very good. Could be a bit better during the winter, but we don't get everything.
Good for the vines.
Good for the vines. We have a fantastic terroir and so much history. Well, what's really interesting in the Loire is, and compared to many other regions of the world, is you can't even do 1 mile without discovering a new chateau, a new castle, some fantastic events that happen in history. It's really a region full of passion, and it has beauty, thanks to the Loire River that is not only bringing that microclimates, and many microclimates actually, but it's bringing really beauty all around.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Touraine Sauvignon, the Domaine Paul Buisse?
Domaine Paul Buisse. Domaine Paul Buisse has a special place in our heart. We took over the estate 10 years ago, and I should say my father took over the estate 10 years ago from Paul Buisse, from Paul. We thank every day for his trust, for his hard work, for his legacy. And to this day, we work with him. And today I have a special thought for him because I know that he is facing a big battle. We are by his side with his family during this moment.
Is he ill?
Yes.
I'm sorry to hear.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very sorry too. And with every bottle and every day, we think of him, we talk about him, and we are with him. Today, we were with him yesterday, and we'll be with him tomorrow.
And he's been a friend of the family for a while, right? Your father and you?
For a long time, more than colleagues, for sure. I would say at least 30, maybe 40 years now. It was very hard for him, of course, to let his life work. But I think today he will be proud to see what we are doing and what Cape Classic is doing in the US with this estate, with this Gaimont that he loved. And to see where we work, how we work it. And I think we are keeping that his philosophy. And that's the main thing. Because more than wine, you can make wine everywhere in the world, but to make really that quality wine that is faithful to its region, it's beautiful in many ways.
The Domaine Paul Buisse Touraine Sauvignon 2018 has just landed in our wine room. How would you describe this vintage?
I am so excited about that wine, about that vintage. Best vintage in the last 10 years. Everything went right. It just, as what you say in English, when the star aligns. The stars aligned. That's what happened. I think everybody is stoked about this wine. It's mineral. It's everything you want Sauvignon to be. Definitely a Loire Sauvignon. We have worked a lot in the cellar to improve it, to make a big jump between 17 and 18. And as we do every year, because we never stop wanting to improve. And I think with the 18, we've done it.
In addition to Domaine Paul Buisse, your family also produces the Clos de Gaimont Vouvray and Vouvray Le Monaco. What is the story behind this estate and these wines?
So Clos du Gaimont is really the baby of François, my older brother. He lives there, he sleeps there. It's everything. Clos du Gaimont is really a special place. Before talking about the wine, the terroir of Vouvray, which is renowned all over the world, and Clos du Gaimont is by far one of the diamonds in the rock of that appellation. Original Clos from the 15th century, typical Perruche soil.
Clos de Gaimont is part of the esteemed Clos du Nuit vineyard. A clos is an enclosed vineyard which refers to the fact that vines are currently or at one time were surrounded by a wall. While most of it has fallen down, a small section of Clos de Gaimont's original wall still borders the vineyard.
François brings his daily, constant work to this wine, and it's so inspiring to be by his side and see what he is achieving year to year. And concerning the 17 and 18, I think to receive such a great score from wine enthusiasts, best in Loire, 93 points, and to see that every year we are getting more and more recognition for his work makes me incredibly happy for him, because he deserves it. He is an incredibly hardworking man with fantastic ethic at every sense of his life. So it's good to see that from time to time people that work hard get what they deserve.
The good guys getting ahead,
yes,
so to speak.
So what I appreciate also about Clos du Gaimont, to talk now about the wine, is the balance. Whether it is La Monaco or demi-sec, which has fantastic minerality and acidity, the balance. And I think that's what François looks for in his wine, is good balance. And I appreciate that. I like that.
So your family are basically pioneers in sustainability in the area, in an area where there are a lot of mass-produced wines and not as many family-owned estates, from what I understand. So what prompted the sustainable approach, and what practices, so to speak, are in play?
My father, Pierre, he was there from the beginning, and he saw wine evolution change. And when you spend as much time as he does in the vineyard, you want to make the best wine you can. You want to put your effort in the best possible way. And when you love what you do, even more. And that's who he is. And that's why in the 80s, 90s, with the technology, the techniques changing, evolving, he thought that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. I want to produce the best possible wine for our friends, for our family, and the best possible value from the Loire. And I don't mean value in a negative way. I mean it in the noble sense, you know. In France, you have wine every day, or at least I did in my family. And even sometimes for lunch, you have 1 or 2 glasses, and there is not that negative aspect or stigma to it. And the Loire Valley are special wine for that, with lower alcohol percentage. It's part of your life. You are not looking for the inebriation, but just for the lifestyle, for the quality, for the accord mets et vin, for the pairings.
Complement to food.
That's right, and that's right. You know, to be able to produce the best possible wine you can, while respecting your terroir, while you're respecting your vines that you care of for 10, 20, 30, 40, even 60 to 70 years in Clos du Gaimont. You need to do that. You need to work on it. And sustainability has definitely been a fantastic opportunity for us. Nowadays, we keep working on it. We push it even further on many of our domains. Like Clos du Gaimont, François works with my father even in an organic way. Even though we don't have the accreditation yet, but I think he's working on it. All our wines are also vegan friendly. So it's a constant work in progress, basically.
Sustainable practices the Chainiers employ include minimal weeding of the roots and regular scrutiny of the vines to ensure treatments are kept to a minimum. To control insects naturally and avoid extermination, pheromones are used to treat the vines. Pheromones eliminate breeding by causing a confusion which hinders the males from locating the females.
And we keep improving, and we will keep improving.
So you guys are working towards a potential certification?
François is working right now toward the Terravitis, and we will see where it gets. But our main goal is not to get an accreditation for an accreditation. Our main goal is to produce high quality wines, the best possible wines, while respecting our terroir. So when our children, François and my children, take over, our terroir will be just as good as when our father gave it to us.
Preserving for future generations.
That's right.
This episode of Behind the Bottle was recorded and produced in our offices in New York City. You can purchase any of the wines discussed today online at wine.com. For 10% off of your order, enter Cape Classics at checkout. For more information on Cape Classics wines, please visit capeclassics.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Cape Classics Wines. Thank you for listening, and please tune in next time. Until then, cheers!